The sermon today is consistently persistent. Consistently persistent. How important that is. Consistently, as you know, it's always, continually, forever, perpetual, unfailing, repeatedly, routinely, typical. Persistent is a lot like consistently, but some people can be persistent about some things, but they're not consistent in it. They can be persistent when they correct their kids, but they're not consistently the same. So the kids get confused. Well, I didn't get corrected last time, and then mom and dad come down on me like a ton of bricks. It's consistently, amen, is the key. Persistent, continually, firmly, in a course of action, in spite of the difficulty or opposition. That's persistent. It's continually, firmly, in the course of action, in spite of the difficulty or opposition. Isn't that our whole life? Think about it. When you pray, do you have a hard time keep praying? Well, sure you do. Who wants you to stop praying? The devil? And if you're not trained, it's like training your hair, it wants to go the other way. Leave it messed up and then try to comb it someday, and it wants to go because you trained your hair to go a certain way. Are we training ourselves to go a certain way? Just think if you were consistently persistent in your eating. Oh, did you have to go there? Now think about it. That's kind of a tough one. You'd think I would learn not to eat so much candy when I'm at work, right? Because after I get done eating it, I just want to go to sleep. Because I know my sugar is clear out of bounds, right? So the next day I say, no, I'm not going to do that. But then by the third day, there I am. The Baby Ruth candy bar looks pretty good, right? Consistent is the key. Think about this, everyone. Think about if you had your exercise program down where you were constantly, consistently persistent. How it would change your life. Diabetes would crash. High blood pressure would go away, right? I don't even care if you would have a milkshake, if you go over here to Dairy Queen, because the way you exercise, you eat that all up. It means nothing to you. How do you eat like that and stay like you are? You would say, well, I'm consistently persistent when it comes to my exercise. Think about that. If you were consistently persistent in reading your Bible, how your mind would be so sharp in the scriptures, right? Isn't that really everything? Isn't that something where the devil really tries to stop you? Consistently persistent. Making something out of something. Making something out of something. Isn't that really life? Joe, going to your job every day for 95 years, right? I hope not. Yeah. But just staying persistent. What if every year Joe's got a different job? Where are you working now, Joe? Well, I've used up all my places, and now he's at Subway. Subway's okay. But for Joe, or for a lot of us, we needed to stay where we were at and make something out of it, right? But because we're not consistently persistent, we're not groomed in a lot of areas, right? Because we quit, we give up, and we don't make something out of the thing that we're into. Eating, exercise, work ethics. If you're a hard worker, does the boss want you? Yeah. Will you be promoted? Absolutely. If you're thinking smart, will you not go to the top? Absolutely. But you can be the best you can be, right? You might not have the qualities of being a boss, but you can be the best you can be, right? If you're persistent. And God only knows where you would go. Now, if you're faithful over a little bit, what did God say He would do for you? He'd put you over much, right? So if you're over much, you're not the tail taking the orders, you're giving the orders, and you're watching over things. Why? Because you're good at it. You made yourself good at it. You understand how this whole thing works, how the machine works. And what are you doing? You're encouraging others. Hey, pick it up a little bit. You're falling behind and you're causing rift up here. And you know how things work, like a sewing machine. Consistently persistent is everything in life. Not one day on track and the other day off track. Every day on track. Amen? Let's look at a woman here in the Bible. In Matthew 15, she was a Canaanite woman. Some of us are Pontiac people, Flanagan people. But this was a woman that her daughter was in the thick of it. She had received somehow a demonic spirit. And this is what, 2,000 years ago? And now today, if we have a child vexed with a spirit, who would even know it? We're so out of bounds, we wouldn't even know to go to Jesus. Jesus, my daughter is vexed with the spirit. We wouldn't even do that, but she did. He said, behold, a woman of Cana came out of the same coast and cried unto him, Jesus, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cries after us. She's like, get her out of here. But he answered and said, I am not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You're not an Israelite, and I didn't come to take care of you guys. I come for the children of God. Then came she and worshiped him. She was persistent. A lot of people would, all right, if you want to treat me like that, go ahead. But she said, no. No, she came and worshiped him. She didn't hear a word of negative now that he was saying. She came to him and worshiped him. And he says, but he answered and said, I am sent but the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshiped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not right to take the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs. And that's what they called people that weren't an Israelite, a Jew. She's so sharp, but she's so persistent. And she said, true Lord, yet the dogs eat the crumbs that fall off the master's table. Jesus is taken back by this. Now I want you to see, she was She was ridiculed. They weren't paying any attention to her. And then Jesus says it's not right to give it to the dogs, the things that I have for the children of God. And she said, all that is true, my Lord. But yet the dogs eat the crumbs that fall off the master's table. And he said, for that saying alone, for your persistence, I'll heal her. And Jesus says, go your way, your daughter's made whole. Just a word from his mouth. Do you know that in your persistence, so many things are you're just right there? All it would take is one more prayer. One more time. One more time. One more petitioning of the Lord. And the woman's daughter was made whole. Consistently persistent is what she was. I want to read you something out of Proverbs 12:27. The lazy do not cook or roast any game, but the diligent feed on the riches of the hunt. It says the lazy, they never get it to the oven. The thing that they hunted for and caught, they never got it to the oven. But he said the diligent, they get it all done. They get it all cleaned, all skinned, all cleaned, all chopped up in pieces. The diligent, I got to get this in the refrigerator or it'll start to spoil. Sunday afternoon, we're having pork. The way I do it. Oh, Dad, that's so good. You spend a lot of time. Dad says, I'll show you how to do it someday. In another translation, it says, the slothful man roasts it not, that which he took in the hunt. But the diligent man's, it's precious, his riches, his valuable treasures, his fortune. He gets it done. Blessed is a man in James 1:12, blessed is a man that endures temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. What is it? The man that endureth. The man that is consistently persistent. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that love it. You love the crown of life? Do you love having some things in your life? Yeah. Be persistent, be consistent, you'll have it. How many people have you all known that they get into a job, and I talk about a job because it's something that we all are so familiar with, and just when they're right there and they got it flowing, hey, how come you didn't show up for work? I'm getting tired of it. I didn't do it. Man, you could have took this job and ran with it. The boss had you all set up, but you've discouraged him. I've seen it so many times. Or, get a load of this. This is a crazy one. They quit a job and they don't have one lined up. I quit. And where are you going? I don't know. Really, was it that bad? Well, I think it was. You got a family at home, man. You just quit. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this. They quit everywhere like that in their life. They're not persistent in raising their children. One day it's one way, one day it's another way. It's like, oh, no. You can't do that. Mom will kill you. Dad will kill you too when he gets home. No, it's different. Every day is different. It's like the wind blowing. One day it's okay, the other day it's not. Can you see how consistently persistent is everything? It's everything. In your prayer life. In your prayer life. Say, I want to go on with you, God. I want to learn the deeper things of God. I want to stand in your presence. You know what a lot of people do? This is what they do. Instead of them doing it, they'll run to a conference somewhere hoping that the preacher did it for them. And they're hitchhikers. Oh, you think you're going to get healed? And I've seen so many people that are hitchhikers say, okay, pray on me. And that's good. And a lot of people get healed, but a lot of people don't. And God says, I'm waiting for you. You went to that conference and you go to see old Benny, whoever Benny is. You went to see old Benny minister to you and you're hoping for the big breakthrough, but you spend no time in prayer with me. That person will never get healed. And if they do, they'll lose their healing because the devil will come immediately and steal it because they're not consistently persistent. It's everything. Paul was someone that was, you know how many miles Paul traveled? I had to look this up. You know how many miles he traveled? Over 10,000 miles in his ministry. 10,000 on foot. Through the years of his ministry, not all, he did get in a ship, but then he got to stay in the water for a night and a day twice. But he was consistently persistent in so much that he drove people crazy. He caused riots. Why? Because people didn't want to hear the truth. And he put it in their face and said, eat it. It's the truth. And some people did, made great converts out of so many. Titus, Barnabas, Timothy, Timothy's grandmother. There was just so many. Even Peter said, Paul, he thinks so deep. It's hard to understand some things he says. But he's of God, folks. In Ecclesiastes 10:18, it says, through slothfulness, the roof falls apart, deteriorates, and the house leaks because of idleness. Hard-working hands gain control, but the lazy hands, well, they do slave labor. What are you talking about? Well, hard-working hands gets in control, the other guy is a slave. If you're not a hard worker, you're going to be a slave. So what job are you working at now? Well, I did have a foreman's job, but I quit that, so now I'm working over here. So what are you doing? Mixing concrete. Oh, really? So how's that? He says, I'm too old for this. Or you needed that foreman's job. Yeah, I wish I could go back. How many people say that? I should have never quit. I need to go back. Should have never quit. I need to go back. Can you take a punch? If you're a good boxer, you're going to take one. Bam. You don't look out in the audience and say, Mom, I got hit. Another one's coming. Poof. No. He takes a punch and he doesn't lose it. And he comes back, right? Are you able to take a punch in life and stay there? In the ring of life, a lot of people don't. A lot of people do. And so you see, how many are at the top? Who pays 95% of all the taxes? First 5%. Only 5%. What's everybody else do? They're at the bottom. Who makes all the money? It's less than 5%. But we'll just say 5%. Who's able to put it together? Less than 5%. Why? They understand the concept. They understand how it works. Whatever you do, if you're going to walk with the Lord, you're going to have to give it 100%. If you give it half, you're going to get half. Whatever you sow in the Lord, that shall you reap. Amen. Don't we want the best? We want the best that God has. In 1 Corinthians 15:58, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Be steadfast, consistently, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Be steadfast. Nothing can move you. Always abounding, pushing ahead, reaching for the prize. I want you to see something about Paul. 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Now get a load of this guy, verse 8. We are troubled on every side. Wouldn't you have loved to have a guy like Paul in your life? He's intense. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Who are you anyway? You're troubled on every side. Don't you want to give up? He says, we don't give up. That's not in our word list here. We're troubled on every side, but I am not distressed. You're not? Well, it sure distressed me. He says we're not. We're not in despair, persecuted, but not forsaken. What else, Paul? Well, we're cast down, but we're not destroyed. Tell me that guy doesn't have a winning attitude. Is that not supposed to be you and I? Never stopping. And I'll tell you what, if you got that attitude, you're going right to the top with God. You're going right to the top in society. You're going to have something to say about it. If I ever become governor, I won't. But if I ever become governor, that medical stuff is going to get hard to find. You hearing me? If I ever become governor, which I'm not gonna, we need Christian governors. Amen? We need Christian governors. Always abounding in the body, the dying of the Lord, that the life also of Christ might be made manifest. Listen to this. Proverbs 13:4, the soul of the sluggard, he craves and gets nothing. The soul of the sluggard is always hungry, but he gets nothing. Why? Because he's a sluggard. He gives up. He lets go. While the soul or person of the diligent is richly supplied. Which do you want to be? I said this the other day. You want to pick with the chickens or soar with the eagles? Now, chickens get eaten, right? We have fried chicken over at my place. We have a fried chicken dinner here. We get a lot more people to come just on that Sunday. Fried chicken. And I said this, when was the last time chickens get eaten? When was the last time we had fried eagle? You know, that's a good eagle breast. Nobody eats the eagles. They eat you. Amen? That's true. Chickens get eaten. Bark, bark, bark. It's true. You want to get eaten or you want to eat? Who swoops down on who? You ever see a chicken swoop down on an eagle? No. It don't happen. What do you want to be? It's not too late. For some, we've been taught an easy way is better, but there is no easy way, because the easy way turns into hardship, right? There is no easy way. I'll just eat this cream puff and go to bed. It ain't going to work. Eat that again tomorrow, and the next day, you won't be able to get out of bed, right? Romans 12:11 through 13, it says, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, fervent, not slothful in business, but fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope. What's that rejoicing? Rejoicing in assurance. You can't walk this walk unless you got faith in God, that he's going to make the difference, amen, because you will lose heart. Patient in tribulation. Patient in tribulation, because you know it's going to pass. Let me say this. Everything's got a lifetime to it, even your troubles. It only lives for so long. You only live for so long. Are you going to outlive your troubles? Patient in tribulation, continuing, instant in prayer. What does that mean? When you make instant potatoes, you don't have to peel them. You don't have to do that. You just get the box out, throw it in. I would suggest some milk. Don't do water. Get some richness in there. But you can make them right away. Hey, Mom, how'd you do that? It's instant. That's how God wants it to be in prayer. Ready to go for it. God help me right now. Bam, God hears you. Why? It's because you're there constantly before the throne of God. Instant in prayer, distributing to the necessities of saints, given to hospitality. You're just an all-around winner. Amen? You're not going over to their house looking for a meal. You're giving them a meal. More blessed it is to give. Why is that more blessed? Because you got enough for everybody else, right? You're not there begging for a meal. And you can be that person if you're persistent with God. That's why I'm even doing this sermon. Be persistent, but it's all the way around, really it is. You see persistent people, consistently persistent, they carry that thing all the way through their life. Yeah, well, I see that they're kind of down. They won't be down by this afternoon, though. They'll be laughing about something and wiping away the tears. Amen? They will. They will. Because it's out of character for them to be like that. It's out of character for them. It's something that is not built inside of them to boo-hoo constantly. They're just not built that way. They'll boo-hoo, but it's only for a day, a part of a day, and then all at once they're back up. They pull themselves up because that's where they live. They're not at home with the other. Some people are at home boo-hooing all the time, right? Some people are not. They don't want to do that. They don't want to be that way. It's not comfortable to them. Proverbs 10:26, it says, lazy people irritate the employer, like vinegar to the teeth or smoke in the eyes. You ever get smoke in the eyes? I'm sure everybody has. Remember when you smoked those cigarettes? You'd have it waddling out of your mouth, be turning a corner. Oh my golly. And be hitting the kids in the back seat at the same time. I've seen that so many times. That smoke in the eyes doesn't work. A lazy person irritates the boss like that. Gail, when you used to smoke, you ever get some of that in your eyes? She finally gave it up. I didn't even have to tell her. She'd get outside these doors and she'd be lighting up and we'd see her go by. It was bondage. It was. And we all had I'm the same way. I threw 1,000 packs of cigarettes, not 1,000, but probably 100 out the window trying to quit. But finally. Seek the Lord while he may be found. He's ready to be found right now. Give you a quick verse here, Matthew 7:7. You know where it says ask, seek, and knock? You know what Jesus, the correct translation of that is keep asking, keep seeking, and keep knocking. The one that asks gets. The one that seeks finds. You don't seek for a day, for an hour. You never stop. You never stop seeking. God said, seek my face. You never stop. A lot of people do. Why? Because that's part of them. But it doesn't have to be part of you. It doesn't have to be part of you. You can be the person that never stops asking, never stops seeking, and never stops knocking. And you're going to have. I don't care if you're poor. If you know where to hit the pantries, it works. Amen? It works. You can have your cupboards clear full here in the United States. If your cupboards are empty, you're not hitting all the pantries. Right, John? It's really true. You just don't know where the riches are at. Well, keep asking. Keep knocking. But it's better off, I've learned this. I've gotten some candy back here. And I have to say, it's better in the store many times. I don't know what those one boxes are, John. But anyway, that candy, it's a funny color. So I thought, well, I need something really quick to get my sugar level off the chart. So I break open this box and thank God for that candy, right? I'm telling you, up at Neiman's, they got the fresh stuff up there, you know. Now, you can have boxes of this other. Yeah, it's still good. You have abundance, but I'm telling you, your abundance and their abundance is two different things. Amen? And I could go into the story of Joseph. Jacob's boy. He's the one that he stayed steadfast, unmovable, and ended up at the top. You know what made him end up, you know, the coat of many colors, the guy that had that coat. You know what really took him to the top? He was faithful to God with the gift that he had. He kept prophesying. He kept telling people, this is what your dream means. This is what your dream means. So the Pharaoh has a dream. He says, we got 7 fat cows, and we got 7 skinny cows. And I was very troubled, and nobody could tell me. He says, I know a guy that can tell you. He's in jail. False charges brought on him. False charges? Yeah. So they went and got him, and Pharaoh told him what it was. And you know what he told? Bam, he had the answer right away. And he said, this is what it is. You got 7 good years and 7 bad years coming your way. He said, really? And he says, yep. He says, I'll put you in charge. Nobody's over you except me. He went from the jailhouse now. I'm in the jailhouse now. He was the one that made that song. Yeah, Joseph. I'm in the jailhouse now. And he came out of the jailhouse right to the top. And the last one. Hey, that's pretty good. It shut itself. And can we remember Moses when God says, I hear my people? And he says, I can't talk. I stutter. Now, none of us are perfect. We really aren't. I listened to a preacher preach this week. I just marveled at him preaching. I just thought, he is so good. I need to just go back to sleep. God has somebody for everybody, amen? But Moses said, I can't talk. How am I supposed to go convince Pharaoh? And he says, oh, it's going to work. Because when you say something, I'm going to be with you. When you say, let my people go, he says, I'm going to make him let them go. He said, you just go, Moses, and you do what I tell you. And he says, I see all my shortcomings, and I just can't do this. And he says, go. I'll get your brother to help you. So, I want you to be, for the Lord, consistently persistent. It's everything. You know what my dad said? And it was really true. Work hard while you're young. Why? Because there's going to come a day you can't work so hard. Here comes a day. How many people are ready to retire and they have no retirement stored up? There's nothing there for them. Right, really. And a lot of people. Now God's going to help them, but it's sure a lot better to have a retirement. Right, Bob? Jan? Amen? Bob got hit with lightning one night while he was up on a pole for ComEd. In fact, I think he might have died. But I know they got him down. He got hit with lightning. I'm going to tell you what, he didn't walk down on his own. Can I say this? That while Bob's on the ground, they're giving him mouth to mouth and he's puking in their mouth. But he's got a retirement. Now, if he would have said this, well, I'm not getting up on those poles. I could get hit with lightning. Bob would be here today asking you for a handout. Right? No doubt. Because he was afraid to get on those poles. And we would be without lights. When was that, Bob? That's about 1980 something, whatever. That was about the time my lights went out. Thank God for people that aren't afraid. Amen. It's lightning, he's on a pole. I'm the lightning rod, God. Right? You were just up there right out in the open. Yeah. Yeah, not only that, he's got two lines that are probably one side's hot and the other one's not. And then lose thought. You ever see those squirrels that kind of did it wrong? Frozen in time. Hallelujah.